everyone, my name is Alfonso Rodriguez. I'm licensed as a realtor and a mortgage loan officer, so I can be a resource for you towards finding your next home and securing the financing for it. This video is a real estate and mortgage update for the month of June 2022, and what we're going to do is look back at the data for May 2022 and give you a general idea of what the market looks like in comparison to what it was a year ago and what it was a month before that. So here is the data and there's four metrics that I like to keep track of, and the first one is being the close to list ratio, and this is the percentage. It's quantified as a percentage of what did the home eventually close for in comparison to what the home listed for. So if a home sold for over the asking price, then the percentage would be over 100%. So for May 2022, the close to list ratio was 104.67%. So that means that homes on average sold at 104.67% over the asking. In comparison to May of 2021, which was a year before that, that percentage was 108.81% close price over the asking price. And in comparison to a month before last month, April 2022, that percentage was 105.87. So what that tells me is that homes are the home prices are kind of stabilizing. They're still selling over asking on average, but not as high as it was a year ago or just a month before that. The second metric that I keep track of is the average sales price. And this is, keep in mind, just an average of all single family homes here in the Central Texas area. The average sale price of a single family home for May 2022 was $688,728. So in comparison to a year before that, it was about $100,000 less at $587,378. And just in comparison to a month before April 2022, that average sales price was $675,891. So we're still starting to see prices on average go up, perhaps not as fast because this is kind of tied to the close to list ratio. As we see that ratio come down, then we know that homes are not going up as much, which is from the experience that I have with clients that are currently active. That's what I've been seeing as well. So the next metric that I keep track of is the average days to sell. And this is the number of days it takes for a home listing from the time that it gets listed to the time it actually goes under contract. And all the days, once it goes under contract, that's not counted because it usually takes 30 to 45 days after it goes under contract. But the number of days it takes from being listed to the time it goes under contract for May 2022 is 14. So in comparison to May of 2021, which is a year before, that average number of days was 13. And in comparison to the month before last month, which was April, that number of days was 16. So to me, that makes sense. You know, as we head into the peak cycle of real estate, we're starting to see homes be on market a little bit longer, or a little bit less long, less as long. You know, obviously going from 16 days on average in April to 14 means that homes are going under contract a little bit faster. The next metric that I keep track of is the number of new listings. This is and this covers everything from the new to the resale market. So how many new listings were being submitted in May of 2022? That number is 5,219. In comparison to what it was in a year before in May 2021, that number of new listings for that month was 4,127. So a little over 1,000 more year over year. And in comparison to April 2022, the number of new listings for that month, which is the month before last month, was 4,584. So, this tells me, and everybody can decipher it a little bit different, is that this tells me that more homes are starting to be make it onto the MLS. And this includes resale and new homes, builders submitting it to the MLS. So as more inventory becomes available, there's more options to choose from. And if interest rates continue to rise, that's going to have an effect on the number of people out there actively looking for homes. And so people who are shopping will have more homes to choose from. There'll be a little bit less competition and probably some room to negotiate a little bit. So just keep in mind that the numbers that I went over, the metrics, those are the averages for all single family residences throughout all the spectrum. Doesn't matter when it was built, what the square footage was, number of bedrooms, baths, or area. Here in the Central Texas area, I included everything for single family homes. And if you want more specific data for areas you're considering, I'd be happy to get you that information. It's something that's not automated, that I actually do manually, and all you have to do is just give me a call or send me a text directly at 512-809-0091. If you're on my website, down below will be a contact field to put in your information and to have us get in contact with you. I also put in screenshots of the data and graphs that goes over all this information I just gave. Okay, so this is the part where I go into what my opinion as a realtor, what's going on here in the Central Texas area, and give you my advice on what to consider. So as a realtor, what I'm seeing in real estate is that there is still plenty of demand. There are still people actively moving here, and it makes sense. We have a good economy. We have large major businesses making its way here. So there's going to continue to be an influx of people moving to the area and needing a home to live in. So, but with that being said, I am starting to see less competition than it was compared to a year ago when interest rates were not as high. And with the state of the economy on a national scale and what's going on with interest rates, I'm starting to see less people actively looking to buy, most notably less investors that you have to compete against. And which that means is that you have a little bit of leverage, especially if a home is on market for more than a week, then the seller is more likely to consider an offer that is not asking price. And I've come in contact with that many times with clients that are currently looking, clients that I've been able to secure homes for, and builders are going back more and more to the buy it now price. So lumber prices are coming down, so builders are building homes a little bit faster, and they're releasing them a little, and more in bulk. And there's multiple builders that I know of that have inventory available, even homes that are ready to move into right now, and it's at a buy it now price. Of course, it's at a premium price. It's at a higher price that is kind of in line with what the market's like, and it might be a good deal for you, it may not, because one of the things you have to consider is if you purchase a brand new house, when is it going to close? What are interest rates going to look like when it closes? And what your property tax is going to look like on that brand new house, which is a whole nother topic altogether. And if you want more information on that, feel free to get in contact. One other thing to consider when you're shopping for a house is, and I touched on it earlier, is interest rates. You're going to want to make sure that the price that you're shopping in is going to be something that's affordable to you and affordable to your lifestyle. So just because you can qualify for a $600,000 house as an example, doesn't mean that you are wanting to pay the mortgage on that $600,000 house. And it all really depends on the kind of financing that you secure, the interest rate, and the property taxes. So like I mentioned before, if you want personalized guidance, feel free to get in contact. All right, so what if you have a home to sell? What if you're not looking to buy? Well, if you're looking to sell your house, well, then you're probably going to need to or want to buy a house, which I just covered. But if you're a home seller, what can you expect in this market? So for me personally, from my perspective, as a home seller, there, like I mentioned before, there is still a lot of demand out there, and for homes that are priced right, that are marketed effectively and presented well, those homes sell at a premium price. And within that first week, that's when, so to speak, the iron is hot, which gives you the highest chance possible to get you over that asking price. Now, in my opinion, I like to take a strategic list price that is not necessarily the price that you, or the top shelf premium price that you obviously want, what most sellers want, but to strategically put it at a price that's going to gain a lot of attention and get you that premium price, and perhaps even over that when it comes time to review offers and go under contract. But as a home seller, I think for now, up until the rest of the summertime, here in the Central Texas area, it's going to continue to be strong. So if you're thinking about selling your house here in the next few months, I think that's going to be the best time this year in 2022 to be able to do it. And I offer a service to help give you that guidance, information, so that way you can make the best decision possible. Because one of the biggest things about selling your house is where you're going to live at next. And with how things are going, you may be able to upgrade into something nicer and newer and get a premium price for your older, smaller home. So feel free to get in contact if you want to learn more. So what does it look like in the mortgage industry? What does it look like when you are looking to get pre-approved if you're wanting to finance? And me being a licensed mortgage loan officer, I can be able to give you that information. So it all really depends on obviously what your credit score is, what your down payment is going to be, and what the loan program is going to be. And I can help you whether it's a government, FHA, USDA, conventional, or a veteran VA mortgage. I can be able to help coach you through that and help you compare options on what the best mortgage is going to be possible. One thing to consider, that whenever you are out there looking at rates, whenever you see an advertised rate or you hear it on the radio or on the TV, they always put out their best rates possible. And a lot of times if you read the small print, there is some sort of rate buy down to get it down to that awesome rate that you're seeing. But on average, what I'm seeing for what I call a par rate, which means that you're not going to pay anything for it, you could expect somewhere in the mid 5%. Meaning that if you go out on a 30-year mortgage, you're looking at around a mid 5% without paying any kind of points to get that rate. And there's always that option to pay more money to get a lower rate, which what I'm seeing on a 30-year fixed mortgage is, people are getting in the mid 4s, low 4s, depending on how much you want to buy it down, because, pretty much if you have unlimited money, you can get a really awesome rate if you pay up front at closing for it. There's also a couple of other ways to get a better interest rate. You can finance for a 25, 20-year, 15-year, 10-year mortgage, fixed rate, or see what an adjustable rate mortgage has to offer. So, an adjustable rate mortgage used to be something that was very popular when interest rates were high, back when, interest rates were 5, 6, 7, 8%, which wasn't that long ago. And, adjustable rate mortgages was a tool to get you a low rate in the short term, so that way when rates went down, then you can get it refinanced. Or when it comes time for the rate to adjust, because usually adjustable rates, the first 5-10 years are fixed, and then it starts to adjust. Then, before it starts to adjust, you can refinance it into a different adjustable rate mortgage. Perhaps you'll sell the house. If 30-year fixed mortgages come down, then you can just refinance into that. And those are some options to consider when looking to finance your next home. Of course, if you're paying cash, and that's something that you never have to worry about. So what are your thoughts? What is your opinion on how real estate is? Do you think we're in a bubble? Do you think that home prices are going to continue to go up, if they're going to go down? Do you think interest rates are going to go up or go down? I want to hear what your thoughts are. And if you're on my site, or if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, there should be an area down below where you can comment on what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below and I'll get back to you on those. So like I mentioned before, I offer a free personalized service where I can answer all your questions, get you the information you need, and run a detailed analysis on the areas that you're considering, whether you want to buy a house or you want to sell a house. I offer that 100% free and no obligation. And the reason why I do that is because I want to be a trusted resource for you. So that way, when the time comes to either buy or sell, I can have the opportunity to earn your business. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, feel free to get in contact. Down below is a contact field where you can put in your information and we'll get in contact with you. Or you could just call or text me directly at 512-809-0091. I want to thank you so much for your time on watching this video and have a blessed day.